You know, most men, and really the average man, want some form of security. But what security actually looks like for men and what it should look like for a legacy gentleman are two different things. And you know what? I'm going to talk about that today. So let's get at it. Hey, I'm Rob Johnson and welcome to the Legacy Gentleman channel. Today I'm going to talk about what long-term security should look like for men and what it's been starting to look like. Most men are designed and perhaps even bred to be necessitous. To be sure, men need to be constant performers. We need to constantly qualify ourselves in order to mitigate this need that women have to be with the best man they feel like they can find. In the past, and to an extent even today, this performance simply was part of who men were. We didn't constantly think about, oh, I need to put forth the best effort to be the best me I can be. We just consistently did it. The security of an average man is really more rooted in your need to feel like you have the ability to meet the performance standards for a woman long term and not actually come up with rejection from a female. I think in a lot of societies, they're pushing for a more female-centric social order. What that really means is, if you look at it from a feminine perspective, it's usually this equality, it's this cooperative society. That's really more what I mean by a female-centric social order. But what a more masculine-centered social order is where there's just competition and you get rewards based on nothing more than your merit and you get the losses based on your merit. In today's feminine-centric society, men are ceaselessly bombarded with ridicule of masculinity, and you are unceasingly reminded of your inadequacies and the endless conditions you're questioned to even doubt the notion of masculinity being a real thing, and you are ridiculed when you're even trying to define masculinity and attempts to establish it as a good thing. But I think it's this doubt, this constant consideration of your own adequacy is what's shifting the nature of society from being masculine-centered to a feminine-centric one. And like I said before, I really think that the higher ups, that the upper class people know that it's a dog-eat-dog world and they're trying to be in charge, but they want us, the masses, to have this more feminist-centric, this more cooperative-centric, so we don't achieve to be up at the top of the top. But anyway, I truly believe that the average man needs to have the certainty of knowing that he meets and exceeds the prerequisite of what a lot of women want in a man so he doesn't end up alone. And so you have us as men, we're constantly trying to define even what is a man, and it's just our constant desire to be the best we can be, even a good thing. And so here's how we've kind of evolved in society, right? Like the average man, he will look to create rationale to kind of, salve his necessitousness. He will create his own ego and his own image that embodies the best of what he thinks an alpha man is. And it gives excuse to why he isn't that. A lot of times you'll see in society where they're trying to define what an alpha male is. It's really from a feminine-centered perspective of what a good male is. And so when you have these guys who are not meeting that, what you'll see, they'll start to do rationale and adopt this doctrine of equalism, which tells that, hey, men and women, they're fundamentally the same, and that they shouldn't conceive themselves as being anything different than trying to help a woman achieve her whims and her desires, and that's what a man should be doing. And so you see these feminized men who are like, oh, we should be listening to women. They're going to school, they're better, they're smarter, they're the best of the best. And so we listen to their naggings, and it manifests within some men about what the right circumstance for being a man is. And you know what? When you're trying to live to those kind of things, that's what a lot of men see security is. Meeting those changing whimsical needs of women without the establishment being set by men on what a man should be. As I mentioned before, I really believe this is the circumstances of what most men are, which is why I started this channel, because that is not the truth. Throughout history, men have set the standards and they have set what the measuring stick of what men should be for other men, not women's and not women's desires, but men holding men to standards. That is what a legacy gentleman is. A legacy gentleman is a man with the values, skills, and works that will be admired and desired 1,000 years from now. That's what we need to all continue to be. Look, as a legacy gentleman, you're not gonna be the savior of all men. And you know what? None of us can ever be that. But what you can be is come up with self-sustaining solutions to becoming the man you want to be and carrying that on to the next generation and setting that example in real terms and living by it. With that being said, let me take a time to add to this. I know that there are some biblical realities that take form in biological determinism and circumstances in our social conditions that are insurmountable factors in a lot of men's life today. Men, we must be masters of our circumstances, and we must be masters, more importantly, of ourselves and lead and set the standards that we want our household and society to follow. Men, you have to have a healthy understanding and respect and awareness of what influences us in our current conditions today. There's a lot of factors on society that are trying to move us to a more feminine-centered society, which are society that's not based on competition, but on cooperation, while the people who are actually making decisions and are at the top have no concern about cooperativism. They are 100% in the masculine order of do it my way because I'm going to make it happen. And you see those people achieving and moving forward in politics and in business and changing the world, even while they're trying to encourage us to do something completely different. You know what, man? We have to accept that that's just how the world works. To be successful, to be a leader, to be a man, you're gonna have to determine your own reality and work to make it happen with no quarters or peace or help from anybody outside of yourself and outside of the people you cultivate to help you build. So if you don't know it, the world is going in the direction it's going. It's been on a path that none of us can stop. And that's just fine because you know what? We cannot control the actions of other people. And we may not even be able to account for like the normal desires of women to be with the best man that they can be. But what you can do is prepare yourself and protect yourself from the consequences that are associated with the decisions that education is trying to put in you to try and bring yourself down, to not lead, and try to move yourself into equalism. You have got to understand that you as a man are supposed to lead, and that throughout history, men have led, and the only men who make a lasting mark on society are the ones whose values, skills, and works are admired and desired sometime in the future. So, what does long-term security look like? For the average man, it looks like conformity. It looks like understanding what the feminine imperative wants you to do and then changing your life to show that you're meeting her needs by conforming to what she wants. Trust me, that is a short-term solution that's gonna leave you vulnerable for her to find the next better man and move up. So we as men have to change our thinking. Change it back to the way it used to be. We have to know that we can live a better life no matter our age or no matter our demographics, because our present circumstances are 100% in our control. So the other day, right, I was in this mechanic shop and there was this guy, he was pushing 70. He was like, and he was just chit-chatting, he was talking about his daughter who was next to him, and like she was 7 years old. His daughter is younger than mine. So I was having a conversation with this guy and he was really talking about, first about his wife and his kid, but then he started to talk about how he has his vision for his life and how he was just happy that he finally figured out the direction that he wanted to get his life to go, how he was setting his ways and he had his goal. And that vision is how this 60-year-old man was married to a woman in her 20s because he had a vision and he was moving it forward. So guys, believe me, you just have to get a hold of this. And when you finally get a hold of it, because we're men and we don't have a biological clock, it doesn't matter when you get it. It's best if you get it in your 20s. Preferably you'll be like me, you'll get a vision of how a man should lead and live in your 30s. But even if you wait till your 50s or 60s to get it, and bring a woman into your program, you can still start building a family and live a happy life the way you're supposed to, no matter what age you are, because you've got this vision that your long-term security is going to be based on you having a vision and moving yourself and your family toward that vision. Once again, thanks for stopping by the Legacy Gentleman channel. If this discussion on what long-term security looks like for a legacy gentleman has sparked some thoughts in your mind, please like this video. If you want to see more videos about making you be the best you can be, then please subscribe to this channel. Until next time, go be legendary.